Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kandid Konversations. I am your host, Kyra, and we have our co-host, Jay.
What up? What up?
All right, today is our first part of credit restoration, home buying, and stocks and investments, so we can all get our life right and be able to purchase and do what we do to get some good things in life. So with me today, we also have our guest co-host, Derek the
How y'all doing
Deacon,
out there tonight?
and our wonderful credit expert, Christiana Gilbert,
Hey y'all.
and Tanaya Gray.
Hello.
They're going to be our credit experts. They're going to let us know the good stuff on what we can and cannot do, what we cannot do, what we credit, and off our credit. How to start rebuilding. So, ladies, would you like to introduce yourselves? Well, let everybody know.
Hi, my name is Tanea. I'm not sure what was the last part you asked. What was the last part you asked? You said introduce myself.
Introduce yourself and what your expertise.
Okay. Yes. Hi, my name is Tanea. And I'm in the credit repair business. I do help dispute items, all of your credit report legally. And I do also educate you on how to keep your credit score once the credit is repaired in good standing.
Okay. Christiana.
I'm Christiana Gilbert. My current profession is a global payroll manager. I've also worked as a senior credit lender for Bank of America for over 10 years. Located in Newark. I like for Bank of America. So I can tell you how to tell you how credit when it comes to charge off, any profile, you should, what you have on your credit and what you should have, what FICO score means, that you know how to move forward, and what you shouldn't move forward. That's just me in a nutshell.
Alrighty then. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Thanks for tuning in and joining us. If you have any questions, you can either comment in the comment box, and we will open the phone lines 30 minutes into the show. If you have any questions, Derek, they saying they're hearing an echo. You heard me, Derek? So, going forward, I'm going to say first question, which is if one of you can explain to everyone the difference between their credit score and their FICO score. Christina or Tanea, can y'all hear me?
Can they hear you?
I can, but it was like breaking up. I'm sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Can you explain to people the difference between their credit score and their FICO score?
I'm gonna tune in on that. So the difference between a credit score and a FICO score, the FICO score is what lenders look at as far as mortgages, which dictates, on how they rate you as far as getting a mortgage loan. A credit score is an advantage score. I think it's a 3.0 that is just used just to calculate your score, just so you can show how you look to lenders. So it's a FICO score is used for lenders and mortgages, and the FICO regular credit score Advantage 3.0 is used just to calculate for your own use on how you would look towards or anything like
Okay. And when people go on to their credit to check their credit, yeah, hear me? When people go on to check their credit, um, what are one of the best programs that they can use to go on to check their credit report, and how often should they check their credit report?
Can you hear me? I'm not sure if I'm muted or muted.
No, I can hear
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I can't. I'm not type yet. I'm getting used to it.
you.
So I remember back in the day, I used to hear people say, "Oh, don't check your credit report so much; it actually lowers it." That's not true. They have out now Credit Karma, which is free. Credit Sesame. All these apps are offering you your free credit report. They're not showing all three for free, but if you want all three, you can go ahead and pay a price. I don't believe it's that much to go ahead and get them. Um, since the pandemic has started, the credit bureaus are now offering free credit reports through them. You can go to your TransUnion, your Equifax, or Experian.com and go ahead and get your credit reports. Now, it won't show your scores, but it will show your reports as to what's up there that's affecting it.
Okay. And what is the high for your credit score and the high for your FICO?
Oh, good question. Oh, wow, good question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
At 800, at 850 score is a good FICO score and credit score. So 850 is actually the highest right now. Like our co-host stated earlier, that's going to change soon when 900 will be the
Okay. 900 is going to be the highest. Okay.
Yeah, but you gotta understand something. That's the FICO score she's talking about. She's not talking about the Vantage score. I'm not sure if the Vantage score is gonna change also with this new FICO score coming out. Am I safe to say that's true?
The Vantage score, I believe it's going to stay the same. I mean, it's not rated that much. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
She's shaking her head over.
Okay. Yeah.
It should stay the same.
Yeah.
It's gonna stay the same.
So what happens is the general public don't understand that, and you just explained this so well, that this score that we get is a different score than a FICO score because you have to work on your FICO score. And to my knowledge, you can only get that from FICO.com and it costs money, your actual FICO score. So when you get that and start working on that, that's exactly what you said. That goes for your cars. You want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, you want to do something big. That's the score everybody looks at, not your Vantage score.
So we have I'm sorry, go ahead, Christina.
No, that's correct. He's correct. Their FICO score is what creditors look at. However, they don't use the Vantage score just to see like what the accuracy is and how consistent you are when it comes to like paying your bills on times and what your trades are.
Yeah.
Now, you said that you were only able to get your FICO score through FICO.com.
No.
I mean, to my understanding, like I could be wrong.
You can
get it from the bureaus.
The Experian app that they offer, you can see your FICO score there. So you can see your FICO score on these credit score apps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see it. You can see it in front of you on an app. I don't .com, but that's my knowledge. But yeah, you can actually.
I'm sorry for cutting you off. You can go to Credit Wisely to get it, and it'll show you both your Equifax and your TransUnion on Credit Wisely. You can also get your Experian from Experian itself, or you can write the credit bureaus itself, and you'll get that information.
Oh, that's good to know. But I have to tell you both, I hate Experian. I hate No. Hold on. Sorry. I hate TransUnion. They're the worst credit company in the world. TransUnion. I hate them. Yeah.
It's delayed.
So
it's very delayed.
The way they break down, like I've seen, coming back and getting dispute letters from TransUnion, the way they break down everything is just like,
It's retarded. It's just retarded.
If your app, you can get all three of your FICO score. I love it. It's about $21 a month. And all three of your scores there. So I mean, I use it myself personally, and I actually love the Experian app. It's something else that I also use Experian Boost.
I was going to say Experian Boost.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I actually looked into that, and that just boosts your experience score, but it doesn't boost the
It doesn't
other.
boost your others. No,
Yeah.
it boosts one, but not the others. However, you get access to the other two bureaus if you purchase their membership. That's the catch-22 with it. You have to. However, if you want a free bureau, you get your free Experian bureau only. You can go to transunion.com and get your free bureau also. But people don't tell you that.
All right.
I mean, it helps your Experian score, even though it's only boosting your Experian score. Experian is one tough cookie to boost too, to get key results. So if you can help your Experian score, that's awesome, because like I said, that's one tough cookie. I see all two of my other credit bureaus boost, you know, and then Experian is still sitting here for a while. So if you could get about your Experian, it's awesome.
Yeah, but Experian, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Just to piggyback with Experian Boost, it'll like things like your debit card and things of that nature. Once you attach it to it, anything you pay on a timely basis, if it sees consistency within 60 days, it starts to give you points for that. You get for that.
Right.
Because
I got a two-part.
It starts to show your accuracy and your consistency with that, but it doesn't report Union or Equifax.
Right.
See, I got a two-part problem with that. Is one that yes, you can get credit for, like you said, debit card, stuff like that that's paid on time, but then I got to give you access to everything else in order to put that on there. That's my first thing.
Exactly.
My second thing with that is I don't think that it's really gonna help me that much. Like you said, yes, if you boost your experience, then yeah, everything else kind of fall into place. But
eventually,
it takes some time. But what my question to both of you is, this is what I always tell people to do. I go, it don't matter what you do or how many credit cards you got. This is what I want you to do for this month. This is what I tell people. I go, listen, charge on it less than 10% of your total amount that they give you, right?
Yeah, your available credit.
Yeah. Number two, pay it 2 weeks in advance. Let it show 0. And that will boost your credit score like you won't believe. I tell people that all the time.
So I do also
I agree.
I tell that to my clients all the time. 10% is excellent. If you can keep your credit utilization under 10%, that's amazing.
That's perfect, but it should be under 30.
30% is also good. I do tell my clients at least 30% of what your credit limit is. Use at least 30%. If they can use 10%, that's amazing. I do personally also tell my clients, because I do this myself personally, you can spend $100 and put that right back, in a day or two, and show that you're doing at least 3 payments on that one credit card a month.
Oh yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah, if you can make more payments before the actual due date.
Exactly.
That also helps also, because it shows multiple payments and on-time payments in that 1 month.
So my question to you is, both of you, is it frustrates me, right? Because I charge something and I try to pay it off, but they won't allow me to pay it off for like 2 or 3 days. And then when I go to pay it off, it takes another 2 or 3 days for it to hit. And that always frustrated me.
So you gotta give it time to the transaction to go through. You made that transaction, it's pending. So you gotta give it time between the company that you purchased from and the bank to actually pay that company the money, or whatever, however it goes. You just gotta give it time for that for that pending transaction to post. Once it posts, you should be able to go ahead and pay it off. So yes, it does take I would say 2 to 3 days, business days for that pending transaction to actually go through. And what's being done that you fight, whether it was like 7-Eleven or whatever, Old Navy, they're just communicating with that bank now to get their money. So it's just a process. You know, just gotta have patience. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but then I mean, on top of that, it's like if you're trying to master the algorithm and you're trying to do it the right way, that takes away from what you're trying to do. Like, okay, perfect example. Listen to this, right? It's 3 weeks before the credit card is due, and you actually order something. Say it's whatever online. It's a back order on that. That stays on your credit card till it drops off, and let's just say you have maybe a half a week until you need to pay this, so that is going to show when they report, and then now it's going to be like, okay, now let's just say that might have been 60% of your balance. Now you're looking bad, and that's the only thing I hate about that.
Yeah, it's all about the time. I feel like it's all about how long the company takes for it to settle their pending or pending posted transactions. However, during that process, you're actually absolutely right. During that holding period, it does look as if your balance is inflated, etc. And yes, you do drop a couple points because you end up with a revolving balance versus a zero balance.
Yes.
That's where becomes. And carrying a high revolving balance can do more harm than good.
But that's absolutely true. But on your end, you got to look at it like, why am I spending $600 on something, knowing that my credit, that's way over my credit utilization. So you got to really think it out. You get what I'm saying? So if you know, like, okay, this might take long to post, I shouldn't spend this $600. Let me just spend $300, which is 30% of my utilization. And then if it does roll over, I'll be fine. So you just got to really think it out, think it through. Now, with me, I've noticed that with a couple of credit cards. I have 2 major credit cards that I use, right? And my favorite one is Capital One. Why? Because as soon as
I love Capital One.
As soon as I make that payment into my account, my funds are available right there. So that's why I love Capital One. I have Discover, where if I make the payment before 8 o'clock or something, I may have it by the next day or something like that. But with Capital One, if my balance is whatever, $100, and I go ahead and make that $100 payment, my funds is available right then and there. So you just gotta, figure out what works for you.
But then I also want to get into telling people about the utilization of different accounts. So it's not always good to have 4 visas. You got to have a Visa, a MasterCard, or, go ahead. You ladies take over. I just want to get into that.
Can we just get into what the beginning steps would be for someone to start to repair their credit?
Okay.
Sure. I know, Christina. Let me know if I'm talking too much.
No, go ahead. You go.
Oops, I lost you. Hold on. Sorry. I pressed the button. So I'm gonna piggyback off what he said, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer her question. Different types of credit is amazing. You don't want to just have credit cards. You want to have at least a car loan, a mortgage. You want to show different types of credit types. So that's a good thing. You don't want to just have all credit cards. Try to get at least a car loan in there, a mortgage, and things of that nature. So different types of credit, that's amazing. They love that when you have different variety of types of credit. So the first step of repairing, I would say, for a customer is to just recognize what it is that is affecting their score. You have them go ahead and check their credit report. What is it that's bothering them? What do they see that's not working for them? What's stopping them from getting that, that credit card when they go apply for it? Because it does tell you, like when you go apply for something, you get denied, they tell you why. So you want to figure out and get in tune with, what's affecting your score. So that's kind of the first question I ask clients or customers, like, do you know what's affecting you right now? Is it, a medical bill? Is it, collections or like, anything like that. So you just want to, get in touch with them as to what's affecting your score.
But that's a really good answer. But I don't know. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, and y'all can yell at me all you want. I'll take it. After a certain amount of years, you shouldn't worry about the things that's negative on your credit report. Am I correct in saying that? Go ahead, attack me. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Answer that after a certain amount of years. Now, you know, I also used to hear, oh, after 7 to 10 years, it's gonna fall off your credit report.
Mm-hmm.
I learned, you know, down the road that that's not true.
Okay.
Even after 7 to 10 years, if you had something that lasted that long and you went ahead and you paid it all off, whatever it was, whether it was a car that got repoed and it was about $20,000 that you owe, but you decided to go ahead and pay that collections off, right?
Oh, okay. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry. Maybe I said it wrong. So what I meant to say was, if you don't have any contact with the creditor, then that statute of limitation is no longer.
Now,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Like, I messed up.
You may not owe that creditor, but as far as it falling off your credit report, I haven't seen that. I mean, I've heard after the 7 to 10 years, it's supposed to fall off. I'm not sure. From my experience, I feel like you maybe have to contact. You maybe should contact the credit bureau saying like, hey, yo, it's been 17 years. Why is this still sitting on my report? They may have to go in and remove that. I haven't seen anything automatically fall off anybody's report after 7 to 10 years, even though.
So basically you're saying that you the old account.
Even though
you can use those old accounts, however, I'm sorry to cut y'all off. You can use those old accounts, but they're there. They're naturally, they do fall off. Some of them fall off depending on what company it is, depending on who the grantor is or the guarantor is. Whoever that is, it depends on what their policies are and what's in their terms, because they can forgive it or they can just remove it and it'll just still show on your credit file, but it can show it as zero balance. It'll say charged off or it could say forgiven by guarantor or something like that. There's a lot of different ways that it shows, or it can show as charged off and sold to another collection agency, and they can continue to try to collect on it.
So if you go and check your credit report, and let's say it was a charge off for an old account, is that
depends on how long it was?
Yeah, let's say it was 7 to 10 years, and you get will it still show up if you get a printout of your credit report? Will it still show up as a charge off, or you just won't see it at all?
You shouldn't see it at all. Now, I mean, I haven't had experience with stuff just falling off.
It fell off mine, y'all.
Yeah, so I haven't. I mean, my experience, I haven't. So,
I have. It fell off before.
I even have clients that's, you know, like, oh, even with a bankruptcy, like, you know, I had a client say like, oh, it's been about 7 years. Why is it still sitting here? So, but at that point, you could dispute it. I mean, you don't have to get a credit repair company disputes. You can do it yourself if you know how to do it yourself. That's the thing.
That's the question. That brings me into my next question. Say you don't know what the hell you're doing, but you just disputing everything. Now, once you dispute it, is that you making contact with the creditors?
Yes. No, the creditor.
And well, I'm just saying, like, I'm focused on that statute of limitation. So if I don't answer your calls you can't do nothing to me. But once I go through the credit bureau, is that me kind of making contact with the creditor? That's the question.
So I believe you're making contact with the credit bureaus because you're disputing it through Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, and then they're getting in contact with the creditor saying, hey, you know, this client here saying this, that, and the third is incorrect, or X, Y, and Z is happening. Why is this still on my credit report? So they're the ones that's contacting that creditor. You make contacts with the credit bureaus.
Okay, so the statute of limitations still stands.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know because I disputed a lot of ish. And I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to come back as new. Yeah. Okay. No, that's good information.
Even if it comes back, and that's the thing, like, for instance, say you had like an AT&T credit credit phone bill, whatever. And you decided like whatever, you had a $600 phone, you didn't pay it, whatever, you still got the phone in your possession. They didn't put that into collections. Now at first it was AT&T that was looking for their money, right? Once they figured they couldn't get it out to you, they sold that debt to a creditor now, right?
Yep.
So now that right there, that's not credit. That's not your that's not no longer your debt. Why? Because it was sold to a third party company. A third party company bought it from AT&T, so AT&T got their money, right?
Oh yeah, they got paid.
This third party creditor is looking for their money from you, but you don't have to. That's no longer my debt. You bought that. That's your debt.
Exactly. So am I safe to say, ladies, that once you get a charge off or somebody bought your debt, you can say, I don't care? That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, that's no longer my debt. You know what I'm saying?
You could
I'm just saying.
You're the worst.
Hey, look, we got to tell the people what they need to be scared of and what they don't need to be scared of. And that's it. Don't be scared of somebody buying your debt and you thinking you still got to pay them, because I feel like that's the worst thing you could do. Pay a debt collector because it's still staying on your credit for mad years, but everybody got paid. It's like, no, but I'm still struggling. I'm not trying to pay you. I'm trying to go get this car. Like, I'm not trying to deal with you right now.
At that point, I would dispute that. You could just explain like that's not who I originally bought this. You know, that's not the original cutter that I paid. You know, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is a wealth of information. Like, I was confused on a bunch of that we just talked about, but yeah, I'm writing.
It definitely falls under education. You know. A lot of people it's easy. Like I got my first credit card at 18, you know, so I had no idea what I was doing. I swiped it in one session and that was it. So it's definitely education. You know, if you knew better, you'll do better. That's how I look at it. You know, once you learn how to, you know, basically, you know, get the stuff in order and keep it that way, you'll be well off.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because that's the thing. Like, when we weren't taught this, and I'm just speaking as a people, we weren't taught this. So when you get a certain age, it's like, okay, now I gotta start worrying about credit. But if you was taught that from the jump, then by the time you get a certain age, you'll have that house at 23. You'll have this, you'll have that. But then now you gotta wait because you wasn't in line with being taught how important credit was. And then we all grow up. So we all figure out our lives like, okay, this is important. So we need to go ahead and get on top of it for ourselves. That's all.
Right. I just personally feel like we should educate our children at a younger age so that they'll understand how the whole finance industry works together. Because if we start them off younger and make them accountable for certain things, teach them a debit card, teach them how to pay certain things on their own, then we will not end up the kids will not end up in the state that we are now as adults.
Exactly.
I'm just as a people.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. So
let's say like right now, my son, 15, I give him a debit card. He has a debit card. My son, you can get them a student Discover card. When they turn 18, you can get your kid a card. Make sure that they're held liable for paying for whatever gas they put on that card right away, because that's the long. You don't want the score to go from, let's say, 720, and then you end up at a 450 because you did something stupid when you had the money in your pocket. And don't use your credit.
You're giving them a head start, and I like that. That's exactly what I just said. You're giving them a head start.
That's why I said I'm
making sure when they get of age,
exactly,
they good.
They know.
They're gonna know how to handle that responsibility.
Real quick.
You don't want them to
it will look bad being that their mother's a financial advisor and they're screwing up. Right. So
real quick, can we?
You just want to kind of.
Can we jump back to the whole charge off? Now, when
you got charge off? Let's
jump back to the charge off. I just got a little bit excited. I got a little bit excited. My butt cheeks got real hard. I was really excited about this. So when somebody purchases your debt, and when they start calling you, you don't have to pay them no mind.
That's the thing.
You don't keep calling you. You could do the cease and desist. You can tell them that you contacted an attorney, and they can stop calling.
Honestly,
you definitely can do that.
Right? But what I would do is don't pick the phone up. Don't have no contact with them, because once you do that, the statute of limitations starts falling, and it goes right on your credit report.
This is what I tell
unless you obtain an attorney.
I advise my clients, if you get any calls, don't answer.
Don't.
You never know who that is on the phone. I'll just I also advise them to, hey, pick up the phone, whatever you got, send it to me and write it and click. That's it. You don't want to.
That's acknowledging it. That's acknowledging the debt, though. You don't really want to do that.
Is.
You can just let them know that you obtain legal counsel.
So wait. So is the statute? We talking about the statute of limitations? So if they call me the first time and I pick up the phone,
if you answer that phone and you acknowledge that debt, it's starting all over.
Right. So you don't want it to agree to the debt, because if you do agree with it, it's like, okay, they have it on. You're being recorded.
Okay. I got credit with Jay. Jay sold the to Kyra, and Kyra now has my debt, and Kyra calling me asking me for the money, and I don't even know Kyra from Adam's House Cat. And Kyra, this and this. Oh no, I've obtained legal counsel. I don't have to talk to you anymore.
Okay, so
right. So you don't want to agree to it. You don't.
That ain't even got the number.
Yeah, you don't want to agree to the debt that is yours.
Exactly.
Sometimes if you agree to it, or if you set up any payment arrangements and things like that, those are hard. That makes it hard to remove it from your report if you do want to go ahead and dispute it at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, you're right. Like, don't answer no calls, don't do nothing, because if it's not with the person,
well, you ain't got a choice but to answer the phone call now. But then, when you actually pick up the phone and realize that it's a debt collector, then you be like,
wrong number.
There no need here, and you hang up. That's what.
Like wrong number. Like that's it.
I would just click. Once you hear that, this is a debt collector, blah blah blah. Click. That's it. Just hang up.
Hang up.
So don't even say Derek don't live here.
Phone number. Just hang the phone up.
I'm gonna tell you guys a story, right? Hold on, it's gonna be a short story. I'll tell you guys a story. I was 18 years old.
Look, Jay, we need to get as much info as we can within this hour.
Listen to me. They're gonna agree with me, right? Look, I was 18 years old. I walked in Macy's and got a credit card, right? Had nothing. I was 18. I didn't own nothing. Nothing. They gave me a credit card of $130, and they stamped this thing to it. This is back in the day. They stamped this thing to it, and they said you can use this right now until you wait for the card.
That's
what I'm finding in Macy's, a pair of Timbs, right. $120. I bought the Timbs. This thing followed me all the way to the age of like 28. And I disputed it, and it was off my credit. Never paid for them.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, sir. Just want to say that. God is not pleased with your life. I just want you to know that right now.
That's how it worked with the statute of
limitations. It's only 120.
But that's how I believe it worked with the statute of limitation. Okay, it followed him till he was 28, but if he didn't dispute it, it wouldn't have fell off. You get what I'm saying? So, with that just falling off thing, I don't know. I believe, okay, after 7 to 10 years, you're like, okay, it's been long enough now. Let me go ahead and dispute it. And then it should easily fall off. You get what I'm saying? But as far as it falling off by itself, I haven't seen that. But like he said, it followed him till he was, 28? From 18, that's a couple years. He did something about it. He seen that it was up there for so long. He disputed it, and then boom, bye, it's gone. So as far as it just falling off, I don't know. But you do see that it's been sitting there from X, Y, and Z years. You say, hey, let me dispute this. It shouldn't be that hard to remove.
Yeah. And then the thing is, like, you gotta pray and hope that they don't got the right information, because if they got the right information, they coming back to you like, nah, dude, you done. It's yours. You know what I'm saying? This is yours.
So if you are trying to, like, let's say buy a house, get a car or whatever, what is the highest and lowest your score could be for you in order for you to obtain those things?
I would say it's 700 or better. Why? Your interest rates are lower, your payments are lower. I wouldn't go to try to get a car with a 620 credit score. Why? Because your interest rates are they're gonna add about an extra 5,000 onto that, whatever the car was, 32,000 in interest. So now you're paying about whatever 37,000 back, and the car wasn't even that much money. You get what I'm saying? So I would say it's 700 and better. You get a lower interest rate. You may could walk off the lot with zero down.
Oh yeah, if you got
I agree with that. Yeah. In addition to that, in order for you to pre-qualify right now, though, for a mortgage, since COVID, you qualify with 660 right now for a mortgage, and your FHA can be 3.5.
Hold on, really?
Okay.
Yeah. So
take out my information. Give me another more.
So the FHA. so wait a minute. So the FHA is supposed to be zero down, right? Is that the right program I'm thinking of? Yeah. Okay. So if you put 3% down, then your mortgage will be low.
What's your closing cost, babes? You could get it go down, but your closing cost is only going to be 3%.
But if you were cheap,
basically right now.
Do the closing costs, and you like, I'll buy the house, but you gotta pay for the closing costs.
Oh yeah, you got that.
Can't you do either one? Can't you have them either do the down payment? Can't you either have them do the down payment or the closing costs? Can it be either or?
That's for the first time home buyers.
Oh, that's down. Me. Yeah. That's me. I'm
first time home buyers gotta have 680. And
I'm about to hop in that.
Projections, you can't have no collections, you can't have anything on there. But if you do an FHA, if you had a previous anything in collections or a previous repossession, you can do an FHA loan.
Yeah, but tell them how that rolls though. It wasn't always 680.
No, it was
at like 640 or something.
They're considered a risk.
Yeah,
it's considered
so
right now,
like
but they're being
680. You better partner.
You better say so. That's what they talking about. That's what they saying.
Jay, you're horrible.
No, I'm not. They're educating me. They're educating the people. That's what we need.
Trying to help everybody get a property. We trying to get a piece of this land.
Exactly. I need my 40 acres.
I have my daughter's 18 years old. Jay.
I want everything, Jay.
So like my daughter, she's 18 years old. What's the best credit card for her right now to get? She's on her way to college and stuff like that. So for her,
Discover student card.
The what?
A Discover student card. That was the best card I ever had. And it reported immediately. And they gave me when I first started college. They gave me I had 0% interest for over the first 24 months.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And you get that's what I had.
Now,
my parents got me that.
And I had a nursing card. But tell her the other thing, though, that a lot of people don't know. Tell her, like, all you need to do is make her.
That's my parents.
You need to give her your card.
You can
and that will up her credit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I had first. I had a Nordstrom charge as an authorized user first to teach me how to use a card.
There you go, authorized user. There you go.
Yes,
that's
yeah. But that's if your credit card is in good standing, your credit is good. You don't want
my credit was good though.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I'm saying. If your credit is good, and you want to give somebody good credit or have what you have, that's when you add them as an authorized user. Now, if you want to add your daughter to authorized
they gotta
user,
be responsible. They gotta be responsible, mentally and financially responsible. We know your daughter good. Think about it in general.
I wouldn't give my child personally.
You know what mother is?
I wouldn't give my child the card personally. I mean, not yet. I would add them as the authorized user, make my payments on time, do what I can do on my end, build their credit up, so that if they do make a little mistake here and there, with their own.
Yo, that's so smart.
For them to go to college first.
I'm sorry?
You're high school like my parents. Why would you wait for them to go away to college and do it? My parents waited until my senior year of high school and started me out slow. You only go buy your outfit for tag day on this card, but you better make sure when you get paid, you pay this off. My parents did that when I went to PC. So I was in North using the card, but I was making sure every time I got paid from that watch room, I was paying that off. Whatever
Right.
I
Now, what I was saying, like a little earlier, maybe before high school or before.
It all depends on how responsible your children are, because if you gonna teach them, then you got to teach them the right way. You can't just wait until they get to college and throw a credit card at them or throw an authorized user card at them, which is a credit card.
But a lot of parents are not going to be like that. Like, a lot of parents think that it's sweet. Like, okay, you my child, I'm going to take care of you till you 50. Like, no, it don't work that way in life. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I was saying. Like, for me,
I'm going to let you catch an L when you 19 so you can understand what it's like to be a grown person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For me, I wouldn't.
You better pay what you spend. You better pay for it.
No, I think she's very responsible. Like, she has a job. She has she puts some money into a savings account. She uses her debit card appropriately.
Exactly.
So if you feel she's responsible, then go ahead and teach her how to utilize her credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I told you, like my parents,
that instantly boosts her credit up.
Do like T said and put her as do like what T said to do. I think because your freshman year in college is very hard the adjustment is real. And listen, I signed up. I was one of them kids who had credit. Got to my freshman year of high school, college, and they were out. The guy was outside with the little brochure of all the credit report, the credit things to sign up for, and they give you $5. And every time he showed up, I was there signing up. Had no idea that was killing my credit. So you don't want her to be in a situation where it's better.
You do it because that's what happened with me. Like I said, I was working at McDonald's, and they cashed their checks at Capital One, and I went to go cash my check, and the lady like, look, you eligible for a $300 credit card.
Oh wow!
They got
it. Do you think I should? No, I went and I did it. So you just want to be there. Maybe talk to her about it, to bring it up. Let her know, look, before you make that choice, consult with her, maybe, and just so you could just be there to support her. If
Oh no!
Yo, look,
I'm never.
I talk to my daughter all the time. She is 23 years old right now, and I'm so proud of her. She about to buy her first house.
Yeah.
Because she said, "Dad, I listen to you." She was like, "Look, I wasn't out here messing around. Like, I understood I had to pay stuff on time, this, that, and the third." 23 years old, about to buy her first house.
Yes, that's
I didn't buy my first house till I was 32. You know what I'm saying?
Go Jordan.
like it's crazy. But based on that, I said, I think I did a good job. I did a pretty good job. You know what I'm saying?
Of course you did.
And that's the thing, because I had to learn from my mistakes. I watched my dad, buy his own house and have about 6 credit cards. I'm learning that now, at this age. So I learned from my mistakes, but I didn't have my parents' support. But seeing my parents actually living that life kind of changed my view of things. So, seeing my dad, buying his car when he want to buy it, or paying his mortgage on time, and having this, that, X, Y, and Z credit card, it kind of opened my eyes to doing things the right way. So.
Derek, can you please open up the phone lines? So if anyone wants to call in, you can. Once you see the number scrolling across the screen, you will be able to call in and ask questions on your own. And we have a comment from Mercedes Mendoza. She wants to know, can student loans affect when buying a house?
Yes. Student loan it's a loan. It's a loan. If you don't keep that loan in good standing or anything like that, yes, it's affecting her score. Student loans cannot be removed from your credit report. Only thing that can be removed as far as student loans is if you had any late payments or anything on it. That can be removed, but that loan will still have to be paid off.
Just finish that up, and I'm not trying to put anything in the air, but defer. I'm never paying attention. I'm never doing that. Just defer it to the day you die. I just have to put that in the air. Mm-hmm.
So as long as you defer, it's not a negative showing on.
No, you in good standing. Once you defer, you in good standing. Yeah. Yep.
You in good standing because mine show in good standing or register for
exactly. For years and years and years. Defer. Look, I'm 180 years old. That was about 37,000 years ago. I still ain't pay a cent on my student loans, and on my credit it say good standing, and nigga, you good.
So I'm gonna ask y'all this: for someone that is trying to repair their credit, do you think it's better for a person to try to do it on their own, or should they go through a program to repair their credit?
Good question.
I advise my customers not to dispute on their own. Yeah, you don't want them to, like she said, say the wrong thing or not know what they're doing as far as legally, not knowing what to, like she said, knowing what to say. Yeah, you don't know what to say to these, you know, to the credit bureaus. Through a company, they are writing letters. They know what to say to these creditors. Credit bureaus, they write these letters. They know the credit bureau. So.
That sounds good, damn scratcher.
Uh-oh. Someone froze up.
Somebody froze up.
Nobody's frozen.
Yeah, she froze up.
Everybody's good. Everybody's good.
Yeah,
everybody's good.
Okay. Okay. Start back in the middle of what you were saying.
Learn how to do it the right way. Hats off to you. They say even the rich people, they don't do stuff themselves. They rather pay for people to do it. So if you want it done the right way, I will go ahead and just pay a credit repair company.
Yep.
Yeah. Yo, because I seen y'all paperwork. Y'all paperwork official. What we do online ain't nothing compared to y'all. I'm like, what? With the section this, I'm like, wow, this is official. And they can't deny it because what happens with a credit repair company is that they don't give you information. They ask you for information to prove that my client is this, that, and the third. And that's the difference that people don't understand. Like, when you do it online, you're giving them all information and stuff like that. But with a credit repair company, they ask you, you need to prove that this is my client. And they get all the information, and then they figure it out. Yo, I love it. A lot of people, pay that money.
That's why credit repair is great, because it's actually sending the letters and drafting it up and researching it for you.
And they actually, like Christy said, credit attorneys, you know.
Exactly.
Are attorneys. They are lawyers. That's going to
continue. They are lawyers. They know what to say.
They fight for you until, you know, this comes off your credit report.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Clients don't know to do it themselves. How many times to dispute it? They dispute it one time and they like, oh, this ain't go nowhere. That's it. You get what I'm saying?
You gotta do it like 5 times. By my 5th time, I make these charges off.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But you gotta be persistent.
I gotta explain that to my customers sometimes. They hit me up. They like, yo, why am I getting a second round of dispute letters? Like, what happened with the first one? Like, why am I my 3rd round of dispute letters? Because it didn't come off the first time. We gotta keep going in and fighting this for you until it's gone. All you're doing is, you know, mailing off a letter. So sometimes it's gonna take 1 to maybe 3 to 5 times to dispute it before you actually
Yes.
Absolutely.
I've been told agreements. That's facts. That's facts.
It works.
Definitely. But people don't got the time to do all that, so they hire people like you, which is good, because y'all gonna put it in. But the average layman person that's just doing it online on their own, they're not understanding. Like, okay, it may come back messed up, but you gotta keep going. You gotta keep doing it.
And that's the thing. Some people, they think this is an overnight process. It's not. I mean,
No, it's not.
it was
No,
easy.
not at all.
It was easy to go
Not
swipe
at
them
all.
cards, and it was easy to go swipe them cards and not pay them back. But it's not going to be that easy to go
To
ahead
clear it off.
to clean it up, to
Yes.
fix it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's like, oh, you know, it's already been whatever, 2 months, 3 months. Like, why? What's this going on? And that's the thing. You gotta explain to people, like, some time. Like, it's not gonna happen by the snap of a
You
finger.
gotta send back up.
That's what the main point I try to get across people.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a back and forth fight between the creditor itself and the credit repair company because we're putting back and forth sending information just for clarification. Like, no, this didn't happen. So why you said this? It was this amount, and then it's this amount on the file. So you got to go back and forth. And then if it doesn't match, plain and simple.
Exactly. They need to be up on point with everything you owe, and if one thing is off, then it gets kicked out of there.
Exactly. If it's 1 cent off, if it's 1 cent
it's
over,
deleted.
if, like, for me, like, when I look at my credit report, they got so many alias. You don't know why? For me speaking to them on the phone, right, and I'm saying my name, and they not really knowing how to spell it, right? So when you look at my credit report, you see Tamia,
and then you have to
spell it wrong. So it's just like,
I need to spell myself. Wait.
You're wrong. So
no,
yeah,
no, I totally understand what they say. Yeah.
Definitely.
Same thing with addresses.
Oh, addresses. I got like 50,000 addresses. I'm like, yo, I never lived there.
Yeah.
Like, I never lived in Nova Scotia or like Alaska. I'm like, these ain't my addresses.
Dispute it.
So like that, when you see that type of stuff, that right there automatically, like, nah, this information is incorrect. I'm sorry, that's not me. That don't belong to me, and that's it.
Yep.
Exactly.
One letter off spelled from your name wrong. That's it. It gotta
go. It ain't you. That ain't me. That's her.
Exactly.
I do that all the time. That ain't me. That's my twin.
My name is Tatiana. It's not
You heard my name right. My name is not.
So yeah, it definitely falls back to education, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does. That's why I love you guys being on here, because everybody got to educate themselves. Like, this is what y'all do. This is y'all jobs. But if everybody just educate themselves on what's going on, they can take care of their own destinies and futures.
Absolutely.
That's the only reason why I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I love it. I love it.
Yep.
And that's and basically, even though you're in credit repair, you're still gonna get people that's just gonna be like, oh, info, or what if this happened? So you basically still educating. You know, you don't get everybody to sign up. Some people just want to know what if, what this, and what's that. So are you still educating people?
Still helping.
You know, on a daily.
Absolutely.
Well, our hour is almost up, so I'm just gonna go into a bigger platform than just on my podcast. I plan on doing a Zoom to have everybody on, and then I'll send an invite to anybody. So anybody that's watching, if you want more information, just hit the Kandid Conversations page, inbox us, let us know you want more info. And
for DM us, we'll help you out as much as.
Oh, definitely, man.
For free. Hold on. Y'all helping out for free, or is the fee that's attached?
Listen, you gotta give Jay that $150,000 discount. Like, I got $10. I got $10.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I just want to know.
A little bit bigger. We'll give you a little fee. What to expect off of on each podcast of this little 3-part series that we doing. But I would like for Christy and for Tanea to just drop your info in case people do have more questions they want to ask you, so they can get in touch with you guys.
Pick them up.
Your Facebook,
they official. Trust me on that. They official. Like, they both know what they talking about. They official. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
No, it's cool. You guys can hit us up all hit us both up on Facebook. Our pages are public; they're not private. You can just DM us, and we'll help you as much as we can. We'll get you the information you need and direct you to our credit repair services or whatever you may need help with in regards to collection or just questions in general. We're here to help.
Oh wait, but let me go
But
back.
once you hit their Facebook, it's $20,
Hold on.
son. Like,
Hold
and
on.
then we'll
Hold
figure
on,
out
Jay.
the
Let me hear
rest
what you
after
about to
that.
say.
Okay, $20 into Facebook, and then we'll figure out the.
Charge Jay, finder's fee. Finder's fee.
Yo, I just need 3%. Just give me 3%, yo. That's
I'm just
finder's fee.
we're not that pricey. Prices are not that high.
No, they aren't. It's like
Get
180.
with a 2-digit number. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. Like,
Yeah, you definitely can get started with a number.
so if you work at Wendy's, these are not the girls to go to. Okay.
Ain't nothing free. You better have your money.
No. But seriously, all jokes aside, no. All jokes aside,
everybody that's watching or whatever, we're friends on Facebook, so y'all can hit me up because I'm friends with Tanea and I'm friends with Chrissy.
Exactly.
So y'all can just hit me up and I can then tag you or give y'all where to go to in order to speak to the ladies. Is there any last remarks that you ladies would like to put out there for the viewers?
I'm cool.
I'm just gonna say, everybody's thinking about hardship. Take it one at a time. Don't go ahead and just swipe. If you need any assistance or need anybody to talk to financially, I'm here.
Absolutely.
Peoples, I thank everybody for joining the conversation. I hope y'all learned something. And like I said, this is just a small part of a bigger platform, for us to do better, to get better, and to get out of all of this. We can't get nothing because we ain't got credit for it.
Exactly, man. We can't even get the new Travis Scotts right now because we ain't got no credit. You know what I'm saying?
And in order to do better, you got to know better. So we're trying to help everybody get to know better, and let's see what happens in the future. Guys, do y'all have anything to say? Jay, Derek, Deacon?
I gotta say, I want to thank the guests, the panel, because they are on point. Like, that's it, man. Yo, look, if you really look, I vetted them just now. They good. Like, they good. They know their profession. So anybody out there listening, and hit them up and do what y'all need to do. You know what I'm saying? To get everything right. So you can get that Maserati or that Bentley or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That house on the ocean. You know what I'm saying? You don't need money for it. Or you need a credit score. That's the difference.
I only drive foreign cars.
That's what I'm saying.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I ain't lying.
Right. She ain't lying.
That's it.
We definitely break break people's pockets. We definitely
We ain't trying to break the bank.
Right.
So instead of buying no Travis Scotts, invest in your you could get mad Travis Scotts and a house and a Bentley. You know what I'm saying?
Then the Travis Scott could sit in that closet in that house.
Exactly. And you only wear it when you go with DJ Khaled. You know what I'm saying?
Anything else to say?
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy.
No. Thank you both for being on the show. You guys were very informative. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. And for Tanea.
Conversations up on Instagram, on YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
God bless. Good night.